what's going on, guilty guys and gals? God, they took longer than it should have, because I actually, once again, forgot what the hell I'm supposed to be doing in Ayame's, what is that called? Cross swords. And, so I died once and I had to do it. But we're here now.
Teruya, that's not it. Remember? Kizuna's cause of death was obviously the neck wound, but there was another.
Oh, there was another one?
The stomach wound, that's right.
Right, that's the most important point.
The stomach was stabbed?
Oh, why is that important? The killer just stabbed her twice, right? In general, maybe, but think about it. The cause of the neck wound. In this case, for some reason, you've already stabbed the victim in the stomach, yet you stabbed them in the neck after. If you were going to kill, why not just stab her on the neck from the start? Why stab her in the stomach first?
The stomach was hit cleanly, but the fatal wound was the stomach was hit cleanly, but a fatal wound didn't happen. So she was killed in the end. Is there something amiss? Something like that? I don't know.
Ugh, this is too cruel.
You can probably see it like that. Looking at this case as a whole, it takes something to put it... You have to notice something to bring it into focus. What? What do you mean, notice something? Perhaps the fire has something to do with it.
Fire? That's right. It turned out there was a fire in the switch room.
Yeah, that's also important. You guys, don't you think the fire happened unnaturally?
That's true. You see a fuse on the wall and even a lighter on the floor. You could see it right away.
So, are you saying the killer started the fire for a reason? Is there any reason to do that?
This is also a question that doesn't really matter. Is the power room okay? I'm sure the control room is a very important place, so I heard. It's a big deal if it gets damaged. Well, it's really a big place, so it's fine. Of course the fire was there, but fortunately, we're still alive because the fuel slime was laid only to burn the walls. However... Oh, I wasn't supposed to speak, was I?
What did you say just now? It was laid to only burn the wall?
Oh, it was kind of puzzling after all. There was such a big fire, but Kizuna's body didn't burn at all.
Only the wall, without touching the machines or the body. Is there something important on the walls? If it's a wall, what else could there be?
A wall? If there's something on the wall of the control room, there's nothing coming to mind. Wait, looking back at it, there was a line passing by it too. It was on the wall of the switch room along with something else.
There was a line. A line and something else. So this and... What, the window? What else was on the wall? There wasn't like a message on the wall or anything. I don't know, I'll try the window. That seems like a really weird way to say that, but okay. Sure.
What was on the wall of the control room? There was only one thing. The glass window. The glass window?
That big glass window? But wasn't it broken by the time we'd arrived?
Oh, well, it turns out that when Tsurugi and the others brought the fire extinguisher to put out the fire, didn't they hear something cracking or breaking inside? That's right. At the time, I thought it was the sound of someone in the control room breaking the window to escape. I asked Kinji to check the entrance of the power room for that reason. In the end, I saw no one. Wait a minute. If the only thing on the wall of the switch room was the glass window, the culprit's purpose was to burn the window?
Well, I think I heard this somewhere. When glass is heated, it becomes fragile. Then the killer set the fire to the switch room after killing Kazuna and broke the fragile glass window while everyone put out the fire and took advantage of it to escape.
Wait, isn't that wrong? If that were the case, all you would have to do is heat up the window and break it. There would be no reason to do a big setup with the whole fire for no reason, right?
It's possible it was used as a smoke screen. Actually, Kinji tried to check the entrance, but maybe he couldn't see anything because of the smoke.
Wow, that's too complicated.
Anyhow, I cannot see this man saying anywho. Anyhow, doesn't that mean someone was inside the switch room right before we were? Then, me and Tsurugi, who gathered at the point Kinji Rei... Me and Tsurugi, who gathered there with Kinji and Rei, we all have a definite alibi, right?
No, you guys are making a huge mistake right now.
Huh? What do you mean now?
Think more carefully. In your thoughts, you can spot the contradictions.
Okay, sure. Thanks, Tsurugi. Wow, 4. This is the first time we've seen 4. We're mistaken. What do you mean?
Reorganize what you guys just said.
Well, first, you go to the switch room, so surely the fuse and the lighter were used, right? The reason the killer used those, it was because there was a purpose for setting a fire.
By the way, the fuse was only surrounded on the wall, right? So it would have only burnt the walls.
On the walls, in addition to the window on there were no special items. Meaning the culprit broke the window and smoke started to spread.
Did you check that, Kanata? Glass windows are fragile when heated.
Yes, the molecular structure changes and cracks occur.
State is probably more apt, actually.
It would have been so fragile if the killer was prying the glass to escape. It's not impossible they could have accomplished it.
Tsurugi said we're mistaken. Obviously, it's clear the killer had a purpose for causing the fire, but the purpose of causing the fire was for the glass window. If so, then what are we mistaken about? During the investigation, there was something Tsurugi said while looking at the window. Yeah, maybe we're thinking wrong. About breaking the window, let's think about that.
So it's the glass shards, clearly. But on what? Dun, dun, dun. True, the fuse and the lighter probably were used. I think it's the last statement. The fuse was only on the walls, so it should have only burnt the walls. Yep. We did just establish that. There were no special items on the walls. Yep. Are you sure about that, Inoue? The glass would become fragile when heated. That's probably what I'd say. Yeah, I thought so. Alright. Let's see what the actual explanation is for this, because I have no idea why the hell they'd break that window. If not to escape the scene. Maybe to vent the smoke so they wouldn't pass out. And that's the only thing I could think of.
Yeah, that's it!
Yeah? That's what?
Like Tsurugi said, we were mistaken for one thing in particular. What Kanata said right then, the broken glass, that's what I mean.
What are you talking about? We know for sure the glass window is broken, right?
Yeah, the glass window is broken, but it wasn't broken by anyone.
It wasn't broken by anyone. Did the window just break on its own, then?
That's a bit ridiculous, man. But I guess it's not all wild fantasy.
No, Yuki made a good point. Like he just said, the window was broken alone without anyone touching it.
Wait, really?
Is that even possible?
Like Kanata said, the glass is weak to heat.
Of course, it can withstand a certain degree, but if it's heated directly or if the temperature difference between the indoor and outdoor is severe, the weakness will become more prominent. Hey, do you remember the structure of the switch room? It was a completely enclosed space except for the entrance, right? In fact, even when the fire broke out, I couldn't feel any of the heat outside.
Right. Your words are correct, but still, isn't it too much for glass to break just by thermal change without any external force? Of course, the conditions had to have been just right. It's not impossible, but...
Oh, I don't get anything of what you just said.
Right. Like Kanata says, the logic is a bit far-fetched. What if those conditions were met, though?
Huh?
I don't know if anyone noticed because it wasn't a part of the scene, but the Switchium, it was dark. No one was probably interested in this aspect, but the glass window on the switch room was very tight.
That's it. If the heat alone was left with enough time to break by itself, Tsurugi's words would make sense. Hey, it's interesting reasoning, but what's the point? It was only possible that this glass could break on its own. So what? You didn't throw this out without thinking, did you?
Of course not. Tsurugi's remarks have an adequate basis. Isn't that right, Tsurugi?
Right. So you also noticed it, Yuki.
Yeah, actually, I started guessing when I said the window wasn't broken by someone. The exact reason the glass broke on its own. It's probably because of those glass shards, right, Tsurugi?
The shards?
Correct.
Please don't tell me I'm the only one in the only one in this room that doesn't get this until you give me a proper explanation.
At first, I only knew that the killer would make use of the window in some way to escape without fail. But what Tsurugi said just now, or what Tsurugi said during the investigation...
Then please do. I need to investigate this window more.
Oh, Tsurugi, 1 second. Can I ask one more thing? I just heard the whole situation from you, but I still don't get what's weird about these glass shards.
To simply put it, it's neatly broken.
Huh? The glass was neatly broken. What does that mean? In other words, it means that if you broke it with human strength, it would never have broken like this.
It's... without human strength. It's neatly broken. I don't understand.
I see. What you mean is the shard's shape. When I listen to Yuki and think again, it really does make sense.
Yeah, if someone broke a window with a hand or a blunt object, it should crack and break in a shape like a spider web. Have you ever experienced it before? You accidentally broke a glass or seen the shape of it?
Definitely. It looks like it was broken into like a complex shape of cobwebs.
But how was the glass window of the switch room, then? It's... the broken shape. It's as if a part of the window somehow got neatly removed. No matter how you look, don't you think it's broken in an unnatural way?
It certainly does look strange. There seems to be no contradictions in Tsurugi's words. Funny, isn't it?
Makaru, you must have already known this much. I'd like you to stop trying to test me. I don't think of the class trial as a joke like you.
Oh my, thanks for the advice. I'm just worried that one day you'll become as lost as these friends of yours.
Tsurugi, don't mind Ray. Keep going.
Actually, I think you just finished explaining.
Wait a minute. If Tsurugi's words are true, then when the fire broke out, doesn't it mean that nobody was in the switch room?
I need to take a drink now. Oh, so that's what he was getting at.
Wouldn't that be the only case? If someone was inside and trying to escape, it'd be quicker to just break the glass manually, instead of waiting for it to be heated in order to break itself.
Yes, besides, Kinji at that time opened the entrance to the power room and was guarding it. No matter how thick that smoke was, if someone tried to leave, they would have been caught.
At that time, we all thought we hadn't seen them because we all knew someone broken the glass. but in reality, there was no one there. And thus, the killer deliberately heated the glass to make it break itself, for the reason of making us think someone was inside the switch room to break the glass and escape.
Okay, then that's it, right? And in the end, no one has an alibi. Is that your conclusion? Think about it. If there was no one inside the switch room, the killer was ready to start the fire in advance. They could mix in with us at any time. If that's the case, aren't you saying that it's possible for anyone to start the fire, including Tsurugi and the group who went to put out the fire when the window was broken, and the rest of us in the dormitory side?
Oh god, no.
Nani?
I like he just left that in there.
Huh?
Oh, you mean we don't have an alibi anymore either?
Kakeru's right. Anyone could have committed this crime by reasoning from the information we've provided thus far.
Hold on. Isn't that established under the premise that the person who caused the fire is the culprit? It hasn't been made clear yet, but it seems a bit hasty.
There's no reason for a person who is not the culprit to set a fire. I'm not crazy enough, and I'm a clown.
Yeah.
Even so, at the beginning, the timing of this incident, Kazuna's death occurring around 9:30 p.m., was anyone close by during that time?
I mentioned this earlier, but I was cooking alone in the kitchen. I was looking around the warehouse for things to help with the treatments. It was useful for Ayame's first aid.
I was just lying in bed. What the? You mean everyone was alone?
There doesn't seem to be anyone near the scene at the time of the crime. The only way we could see each other was to find out where each one of us was, or where the alibis were lost, with the exception of Rei, Kinji, and Mikako.
What? Then we're back where we started!
There's no evidence that everyone has an alibi to deduce the culprit with. That's why...
You mean there's no one in doubt? We don't have any suspects?
But then, who did it?
Oh, Akane, it's only you!
What? What? Isn't this deja vu again? You know, maybe we're in an infinite time loop.
Stop doubting Akane. Didn't the talk about her testimony finish already? No, it wasn't over. It was just that we put it on hold because there was so much uncertain information. Nothing was resolved about why she lied.
No, I didn't lie. Wait, it's not Akane. The testimonies of Tsurugi and Teruya proved it wasn't, right?
Yeah, that's right. Whoever the culprit is, they have to prepare a fuse and a lighter to start the fire. But wasn't it mentioned that Akane didn't come out of their room in the middle of the night when we went to our private rooms?
I'm uncertain about that. Frankly, I'm suspicious of each of them. What? I'm suspicious of each of you, or something like that. Shouldn't we use the information we have, even if it's uncertain? Unless there's an objection... Unless there's a reason to definitively deny it. I apologize. I'm really sorry. Even if there's an alibi for getting the tools, I'll keep it in mind, but Akane's lie...
That's Akane's lie.
Okay.
To be honest, I'm in the same way. If she's not the killer, why'd she make such a suspicious statement?
Hey, I told you I might have been mistaken. Well, either way, Akane wouldn't have been able to get the tools, so she can't be the killer. Enough with this meaningless argument.
You really are all stupid.
What now? You said we're stupid?
It's so stuffy that you can't see it. It's so simple you can't see it. Want me to share my insight? What the? At the start of the class trial, you said you wouldn't help. Oh, did I? Then I won't. Do it yourself. Wait, that wasn't...
Listen first. Ray might know something, you know.
I'll tell you one thing, for those who aren't ignorant and poor. Ignorant and stupid is probably closer. There is a method for the criminal to get a hold of the tools without using their own hands.
Say it then!
The most representative example is, well, an accomplice. You suspected that there could have been an accomplice in the last trial, right?
But, Ray, isn't it less likely we'd have one in this case? We were informed that the only person to escape this place would be the killer.
Moreover, even if there was an accomplice, it's impossible for them to have brought the tools. According to Tsurugi, in the middle of the night, the day the tool disappeared, not only Akane, but also none of us left our private rooms.
Except for the 3 who weren't acting with us.
Then it's got to be Kinji or Ray, who were the ones who helped Akane. Why are you already making it out like it's confirmed I did it? It's not me.
Okay, surely Ray and I were able to roam around without restrictions, but I haven't shown up to the antique shop until now.
You don't even have to doubt me or Kinji. The only person who brought the items from the antique shop. Can't you see it?
Based on the testimonies from Tsurugi and Teruya, there were only 3 people who were free to move around at night during that day.
4, because Tsurugi's one of them, but we're just gonna ignore that.
Ray is saying the accomplice is obviously visible. Surely it can't be that person, right? Ray, the person who brought the tools. You mean, it was Kazuna herself?
Huh? It was Kazuna?
That's right. If you have an accomplice, Kazuna shows up. If you have an accomplice like Kazuna Tomori, you wouldn't need anyone else, could you? Would you? By the way, I'm so ashamed that Incompetent was the one to answer this.
Wait a minute. Kazuna's the victim. How could she be the accomplice, too?
Well, I'm not sure, really. But the only ones who were able to bring the tools were Ray, Kinji, and her. She was the victim, so I wondered if maybe there'd be a way for her to be in contact with the criminal at some point.
Incompetent. This is a common pattern, is it not? The story of a criminal tricking someone into the crime. Speaking of which, the criminal took advantage of the accomplice in the end.
Wait a minute! Tsurugi! Tsurugi can also bring the tools at night. There's no way to prove that Tsurugi was out of their room or not.
Didn't the time run out when talking about this? Believe or not believe, you're free to do either. Now, I think it's wise to follow the more clear information than those uncertain leads.
Certainly a way to defend yourself.
Yes. If you are with Kizuna, you can definitely bring the tools. So, what happened? For some reason, Kizuna did something weird, and then the killer maintained an alibi that Kizuna delivered the tools to the killer that night?
Now, wait a second. But Kazuna didn't change her mind? There had to be a reason to decide to help the killer, right?
You said she was an accomplice, but she can't actually be on the level of an accomplice. What the accomplice did was simply deliver the tools. I need this thing, please bring these for me, is not a well enough excuse.
Then what? If Akane's the culprit, there's nothing strange about that, right?
No.
That is not... Akane, I'm really sorry. I hate to doubt you, but no matter how much I try, you're the only suspect.
You two? Everybody, this is too much. Why are you all so anxious to turn me into a bloody killer? You don't even have an alibi. The only difference between you and me is that I made a mistake once. Yeah, that's it, isn't it? You've just got
What? You got... What? I don't know what that could be meaning. Okay.
You've just got it out for me. You're on a witch hunt, you villains.
Apologies, but it's a situation that doesn't seem to be as bad as you're making it out to be.
I'm the culprit only because there's no certainty at all.
Akane's the culprit, is that really it? Like she said, there's only one thing everyone is suspicious of her for right now. It is just a witch hunt. There's no solid evidence. Let's think about it. Was there any more convincing evidence? If Akane is telling the truth, or if Akane is telling the truth, or if she's lying.
Flash anagram. Wait, what? Live and memorize. Match important clues in your mind while a game is going. A part of the clue or syllable is displayed at the bottom of the screen. Oh, this is Hangman's Gambit. It's just a different name. Yeah. What? No. Oh no. Well, let me grab my phone. Thank God there isn't. Is there a time limit here? All the letters disappeared. Okay, they're coming back. I gotta put this on instant. Oh God, it's on detect language. Korean. What are these two? These are the ones I need the most. I don't know if it's going to be able to do letters on their own. And it's not even going to really help because this is bad. Because it's going to spell a Korean word. It's not going to spell an English word. Oh, I can't use my mouse. Why am I trying to use my mouse? We've got this one with the line on the right. I just have to try to... We've got this one with the C, this one with the O, and then the one with the line on the right, and that's it. So we'll try this one first. Nope. C? That disappeared. Oh, come on. Try this one then. Nope, they all disappeared before I could click them. They've got tiny hitboxes. C. Okay, it's not that. Wait, it is that. Okay, so it's C line first. O. Okay. I think we're going to make it. Because now it has to be that last letter, right? That's why it's here. This one. Come here. I actually caught it on my first try for each of them. That is insane. Okay. I have no idea what that said, but I guess we're about to find out.
Come to think of it, there is something. There's a clue about the culprit's identity.
Really?
A clue to the killer's identity? Is that really true? If you just knew that, why only mention it now?
Sorry, I just figured it out. Even though it's a clue to point to the killer, I don't really know who it's pointing to.
Oh, you don't even know who it's pointing to? Then how do you know it's a clue to the killer? Yuki, what you're referring to, is it the dying message?
Oh, I guess that's what that said.
Right. Some may not have recognized it as such, but next to Kazuna's body, there were letters written in blood.
A dying message? Really? Something like a cryptogram? Something like a riddle to point to the killer before they die?
Yeah. Everyone, take a look at this. This is the dying message presumed to have been written by Kazuna.
Hey, this is it? I've seen this blood spot too. I just thought the blood splattered in a strange shape. It actually may look like that, but if there's any meaning in those letters...
This is a clue to the culprit, then. I think it's a good idea to try to decipher the message, rather than being suspicious of Akane while fussing over it. I don't know. But what does it say? Do we have any idea? XXXXX. Very nice.
X, 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 X. 4 X's. I don't know what this means at all.
To think Sorugi and Ray might know. Isn't this a job for you?
Basically, the dying message refers to the culprit more directly than you may think. Because just before she dies, the victim couldn't afford to waste her time thinking. In other words, if you think only a little, it has various meanings that it could be the solution. Don't think hard, just change your perspective a little.
4 X's? Does that number have some sort of meaning? Actually, doesn't it seem like the last X is a little bigger? It seems to that it might have a different meaning than the first 3.
What is X? The meaning of X?
It's an unknown, right? You guys really are stupid. What? Does that mean you understood the meaning of the dying message? Of course not. There's nothing to understand. It's not a password. It literally points to the killer.
What?
So that's it.
What? What do you mean, literally?
Well, first of all, if you don't know even after telling you this, I'd rather just be executed and die. No way. Wherever you look, it just reads X. Katakana.
Huh?
Katakana. Word. Think about it. Katakana is...
Wait, katakana? Obviously this dying message looks like the letter X at first glance. It's different because there's a lot of blood, but from a different perspective, it could look like katakana.
a letter that reads like an X in katakana.
Me? X is the most familiar one I can see.
No, there are other things. There are many other things you could think of other than that. In fact, Japanese words can be read differently enough even if their writing was a little skewed. It's not strange for a person on the verge of dying to write with their own blood, but it would be weird if they would write straight.
Fair.
Then, what were they trying to draw?
The middle X and the third X, the alphabet X, have long vertical strokes.
If X is tilted, it becomes that letter, where the vertical stroke is longer. If it's long, then to... I don't know, man. I'm getting a headache.
No way. What this word means then, it's...
When I think of it as katakana, the first X is almost similar to May.
It's probably May, not me.
I'll give one more hint. The third X is a symbol that seems to be hiding, see?
It seems. I can't see anything in that.
So... I don't know, the first two look the same to me. I can see how the third one could be different, but...
Look closely. It's buried in the big X next to it. It's hard to see.
It's got one of those little dots, or lines.
Because there's a drop of blood in that exact location.
I'll believe you if you say so. Allow me to raise a question to you. Tsurugi, your reaction seems to be the reaction to knowing a correct answer.
At one point, after listening to Rei and Mikako's words, I came to realize it seems like there's some other people who might have solved it.
The identity in the dying message. If you think of it as katakana, the first letter is Mei, and the last one has a hidden symbol. The second and third are letters with long vertical strokes. The candidates are I and To. When I think about these combinations, I'm sure I can think of the answer. But should I really believe it? No, I have no choice but to accept the result. I have to do it. The person this dying message points to, that person's identity. I have to admit it.
Okay. It's probably going by last names, right? Because that's what they'd be calling each other in the original translation. I mean, Yuki's is really the only one that's even close. It's the only one that has a Mei sound in it. Although it could be me, but still. I don't think they could, like, change that in the translation, right? And they're also using the last names in this translation, so... Who else could it be with a me in their name? Me Kako? It could, of course, be Ray. Because the other symbol was I and... Or E. I'm really not sure on this one. Dang. This is what the first trial of Danganronpa 1 would have been like if they didn't localize it to being 11037. Which was stupid, but at least it's... Okay, Ayame has Mei in her name. Right? No. Okay. Well, give me the thing again. Okay, it didn't give me the thing again. Try Yuki. No, okay. I mean, there's only so many questions. I have to eventually get this right? Because I lose a heart every time I lose 5 influence, so I'll get this eventually. Nope. I'm just looking for people with anything close to Mei or E. Let's try. Ray has meh in it. No. Oh, I get even one more. Okay, yeah, I'm definitely getting this. Let's try a Kane. Okay, it's a Kane.
The meaning of the dying message. Like Mikako mentioned, it was text that could be read as katakana. However, it just looks like the letter X because it's a little scrawly.
Sure, like that.
Yuki, did you figure out the meaning of the dying message?
Well, Mikako, Ray, and Tsurugi's hints set me on the right path, so I'll explain it to you guys. First of all, the first letter, like everyone guessed, it's Mei. This was easy to understand, even if you look at it and can confuse it a little with an X, right? The second letter is probably E or I. Mei. If you use the vertical stroke a little longer, it overlaps with the horizontal stroke and has a similar shape to Mei. The third letter, it's pretty hard to recognize, but I was able to guess based on Kinjo's remarks of the first 2 letters. Maybe this one's supposed to be Do? This one is close to E. If you write a longer horizontal stroke, it'll have the same shape as an X. I'm still uncertain what the last big X means, but if you look at it this far, it's true that one word comes to mind.
Oh, Meido. For, like, maid. I was trying to figure out the name. Oh, okay. I could have actually got that because I was pronouncing it as May and everything, but okay.
The ultimate maid, Akane Taira.
Nice. What would be the last one? Like, not made. Something like that. Made, no. I don't know. I mean, I know Akane has plot armor, right? So this can't be her straight up. But, it's looking real bad for her right now. I actually can't believe I got somewhat close on that. That's crazy. And getting the first try on the dying message thing for Hangman's Gambit. Maybe I secretly know Korean and I'm just fooling all you guys. Do you think? Not even close. Although that was katakana, so that was more close to Japanese. Maybe they use that in Korea as well. I actually have no clue. Maybe you know in the comments and you can tell me. I'm sure there's some overlap there because, you know, I mean, all three of those languages, Chinese, Japanese, and Korean, are sort of similar in the same way that like Spanish, French, and English are sort of similar, right? Or Spanish, French, and Italian probably is more apt in that they're all like based off of Latin. And, you know, all three of those are based off of, I think, Chinese, like traditional Chinese. I could be wrong. I've never actually like studied to find out that's actually true, but I've heard it around. But yeah, Meido. Interesting. That's where I'm going to end it. I'm actually surprised it took us this long to get to the save. Like, oh my god. That's like 2 hours just to get to the halfway point of the trial. I really hope the next part isn't 2 hours. God. I guess we'll find out together. If you've made it this far in the video, comment Meido. And, yeah. Like and subscribe. I forgot to say that. Okay. I'm going to save just to make sure I saved. And now I'm going to go. Have a good day. Bye!